complete does the team feel now that we have like 2.5 weeks before kickoff?
Yeah, we're gonna look at the roster, make a decision on who we want to see in some live situations, some live tackling, and then some of the guys will keep thud tomorrow. And I think those are some of the biggest decisions we have as coaches right now, just based on the nature of practices that we've had up to this point. Some of these guys, certainly factoring in, game experience at this level. We'll probably end up going somewhere 50-50 between live and thud in terms of the percentage of plays. And outside of just, I think, the live like tackling and breaking tackles, we're looking at situations a lot tomorrow. No matter how much you simulate it, getting in the Coliseum, having a little bit kind of different atmosphere and lead up to the scrimmage than maybe a traditional practice. You're excited to see kind of how that plays out. There's a little bit more kind of natural game flow in these as opposed to maybe a practice where you're bouncing around doing different things. And so, seeing how we operate on the sideline, see how we operate with the tablets, seeing how we communicate. And then, I think we're really looking at all of our guys. You can certainly maybe highlight some of the younger, newer guys of just, okay, we get in those scenarios. Do they really get back to trusting what they've been doing on the field and trying to see guys not kind of go out of their way or out of their element, to try to make plays or to stand out, and guys that just really do their job. So it's been a good camp. I do think we, based on not just camp, but all that we've done in the lead up to camp, I feel like we're getting a pretty good grasp of what this team is right now. We're definitely focusing on developing our depth, and that'll definitely be a focus point of it tomorrow as well, just knowing it's a long season and you're going to rely on all different types of guys on Saturdays, and obviously we're going to rely on everybody, Monday through Sunday through Friday in terms of our prep, and we're going to need this entire roster. So, I feel like it's been a great camp. Tomorrow will be a big day. You only, with all the rule changes and all that, you don't get to do this very often anymore, and so we got to make the most of tomorrow.
After 11 days worth of camp, we know you're going to have a physical camp and guys are going to get hurt. How do you feel right now as far as the health of the team? And then a follow-up question, with Killian O'Connor, the whole 5 to play 5, does he get an opportunity to apply for a medical waiver?
Yeah, on the question of Killian, we're still investigating that. Obviously, that's a new rule, and Killian's situation is a little unique. So when I have an update on that, I'll let you guys know. And then I think the overall health of the team. I mean, Killian's the only guy that's long-term right now. The only guy that hasn't been able to participate was Tezano, who I think I announced had a foot injury, but he's getting close. And everybody else has been able to participate in some manner up to this point, which is, has been really positive. We've got a couple of just kind of your normal nicks, bumps, and bruises. We got a couple of minor soft tissue injuries that have held guys out for a little bit of time. But in terms of the start of the season and all that, my hope is the only 2 guys that aren't available, maybe game 1, or Killian and Tezano, and I think we're trending that way. So we've maybe one other, depending on how some of the rehab goes. But guys have done well. We've been fortunate to avoid some of the big stuff. You always have a couple of moments in camp where you hold your breath a little bit. That's just the nature of it. When they're going as fast and physical and competitive as these guys are. So. Yeah, other than Killian's, we've been pretty fortunate, and hopefully we can stay that way the next couple of weeks.
And the bloom has had a pretty positive effect with the recovery because
no question. Just the efficiency of their recovery it's just so different. It's hard for me to even explain how different it is. But I mean, we're just the maximizing of these guys' recovery, and I think we've certainly felt it, the results of it during camp. I mean, there's no question, but I think this is one of those that, like, as the season goes along, like, you're just going to feel it more and more. And so we've settled into a pretty nice routine. And the guys are learning, really how to use the facility. So are we as a staff, how to maximize their time and use all the bells and whistles that we have in here to make a difference.
Hey, Coach, real quick, obviously having Rob Ryan is a huge plus for your coaching staff. Talk to me about just this journey that you've had with him and what he brings to the defensive backs this season.
Absolutely, yeah. Rob's been awesome. He was a great addition to the staff last year, and it's one of those guys you know what you're going to get with the guy every day. Great energy, walks in there with tons of experience, loves ball. He's just a ball guy, and I've been really, it's been exciting for me to see how well him and Coach Patterson and some of our new defensive coaches have worked together, you know, and anytime that dynamic changes, you know, you're interested to see, all right, do these people fit together? And, you know, I know, you know, Coach Patterson has really appreciated having Rob in the room, you know, and having Rob right now where he's not solely dedicated to one position, and he can, you know, provide some really kind of overarching type support, which he's phenomenal at with all his years as a coordinator and obviously all he's done in the game. So those two have been a great pairing, and I think been really key to our defensive staff right now.
How big a data point is tomorrow's scrimmage, specifically for the center competition, and then maybe just in general for the competitions you've got going on?
It's a big one. I mean, that's definitely fair to say. I mean, it's a little bit different situation than anything we'll put them in, kind of holistically the entire camp. So, you know, we'll definitely be paying attention to the centers. I mean, we're fortunate we have 4 guys we feel like can play it, which I don't know if I've ever went into camp thinking we have 5 that could, but you know. Tobias is going to take some snaps there. Kayla Miller's going to take snaps there, and then we've got Lily Washer and Cannon Smith that have already been taking snaps there. So to still have 4 after an injury like that is a very positive thing for a football team, and all 4 of those guys have been impressive. So and several of those guys obviously have position flexibility and can play or have played other positions, and so yeah, we're working through some different combinations to not only settle in on, you know, what we think might be the game 1 starters, but then you're also starting to think ahead of contingencies, right? And how you know, if this piece moved, how that might affect the rest of the group. So our flexibility right now in being able to handle an injury like we had with Killian is much different than it's probably been in years past. And yeah, it is. It's an important point, you know, for all the team, right? That with this, you know, the added talent, the roster, the way we've recruited and developed, there's so many position battles ongoing, right? There's so much competition at all these spots, and so for us to get there in the Coliseum and get into that feel of the closest thing that we'll do to a true game, it'll give us a really good shot of where these guys are at.
Let's do one more.
Hey Coach, real quick, as far as just your offensive side of the ball, obviously you are well known for your offensive side, but your defensive side has obviously struggled throughout your tenure here at USC. What do you expect for this defensive front and the linebackers to have a pivotal role in just advancing USC into the next step, which is the college football playoffs?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're definitely excited about taking the next step. You know, we're the most improved defense in the country 2 years ago. We've taken steps, so I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like we haven't taken steps the last few years. We've had some pretty good solid defenses here the last few years, so I wouldn't agree with struggle at all. Now, I will say, is our expectation to be a lot better? Absolutely it is, and we know that's an important step for our program to take, and that's why we've made some of the hires that we've made. It's why we've made some of the choices in recruiting. We've been able to build a roster that we feel like defensively is very capable of being one of the top defenses in the country, and now we have to go do that. And so it's a day in and day out process. It's being aligned schematically, the way we play, the mentality, the fundamentals, all of it. And from what I'm watching behind the scenes, I feel like we have the makings of a really, really good defense in there. So, you know, that's where it stands.
Thank you, Coach Riley.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.